I wanted to just tell you a little bit about us, Responsible Research. We're based here in Singapore. Our clients are all investors, so we get our funding from producing reports like this for investors. And we talk essentially about environment, social and governance issues. And we split our coverage into sectors. So it just so happens that at the moment we're talking about forestry and palm oil, but we've also spoken about beverages in the past. We've done reports on green building. And a lot of the reports that we publish are free to download from our website. And the reason for that is that a lot of the investors that support us are happy for the research to be published and to go open source because they are adherents to the principles of responsible investment, one of which states that you are supposed to collaborate on research into sustainability issues. So we've been really grateful to our supporters that they've allowed quite a lot of the work to be open source. So we cover 10 markets in Asia ex-Japan, and we take our coverage from MSCI Asia ex-Japan. This is our research team. I just want some people to put their hands up in the audience if you're part of our research team. I know you're there. Okay, so if you have questions, maybe at the break, you can come to some of those people and ask a little bit more about the work. So we're very good at planning ahead, and we have to do that because we're quite a resource-poor organisation, and we have to make sure that we're out there trying to recruit the right people to produce these reports. So in terms of 2011, we already know pretty much what we're going to be writing on next year, but we do also give our clients the opportunity to come up with recommendations for what they would like to see us report on as well. And also, anybody in the audience, if you have an idea of a report that needs to be written, then we can work together to get funding for that report and try and get it to go open source. We also have a product called the Asian Sustainability Rating Tool, and that covers 10 markets. We've rated 542 companies in Asia Pacific, the top companies, and we've rated them based on 100 plus sustainability criteria. And our criteria are split into general, environment, governance, and social is split into 4 different categories as well. And we'll talk a little bit about that when we talk about both forestry and palm oil reports, because we have benchmarked both sectors, and we're going to let you know who's come up in terms of the top performances in each sector from Asian listed companies. When we benchmark Asian companies, we also benchmark them against what we describe as global leaders in sustainability reporting. There's a lot of issues with a rating tool like this, and we're quite aware of the limitations of a rating tool, but we also believe that it's a good tool to start discussions and to identify outliers. So the tool tends to identify companies that aren't doing anything in terms of managing their sustainability risks. One of the great things about this tool is that we've selected the criteria so that any company in Asia, so any one of you who's representing an Asian company, could in theory achieve 100% rating over the next 2 to 3 years if you know what the criteria are you're being judged against, and it's not difficult to achieve that. We also have a product called RepRisk, which searches media sources for reputational risk issues and flags up to investors where risk is in their portfolios. So we've been working with RepRisk, who are based in Zurich, for quite some time, and we are very happy to talk to people about that. There's some information about RepRisk out there on the table outside. So PRI, Principles of Responsible Investment, is an organisation, it's a not-for-profit organisation backed by the UN, that's based in London actually, and these are the 6 principles that an investor has to subscribe to and adhere to if they want to become a responsible investor. And the board is made up of a variety of stakeholders, including Global Compact and UNEP FI, and 11 large asset owners who are global. They put up a suggested annual voluntary fee of $10,000 US, and currently they just made it to 800 signatories globally. the increase in the number of signatories globally has been phenomenal over the past year. And even in Asia now, we're starting to see some stickiness in terms of new signatories to PRI. So I've put up here who the sort of the Asian ecosystem is in responsible investment at the moment. And you can see that there's only 3 large Asian asset owners who are really the key. You know, these are the guys with cash. So far, only 3 have signed up, which is Thailand and South Korea's pension funds, and then Carmody, which is a foundation, biodiversity foundation in Indonesia. But we would love to see more asset owners and asset managers in Asia signing up to the principles over the next couple of years. And we try and work very closely with PRI in trying to develop the knowledge of the principles in Asia. Also on the right-hand side of that chart, you'll see the asset managers that have signed up. So these are the people that manage money for the asset owners. And there are quite a few Asian companies there. The South Korean companies came as a big batch when Ban Ki-moon was appointed. And many of them are not adhering specifically to the guidelines, so may not be there in a few years from now. But in Singapore, we're very proud to say that RSAG was the first signatory. And is there anyone from RSAG here today? Hi, David. So RSAG are a client of ours as well, and they've signed the PRI. They were the first signatory in Singapore. And I'm sure David will answer some questions if you have any later on about what it means to be a responsible investor. Sorry to put you on the spot. And so there's various reasons, rationale for investing responsibly, mostly down to reduction in volatility within a portfolio, but also there's mounting case for proving improved investment returns over time. It's a very academic discussion at the moment. There's many studies on both sides of the argument, but I've just highlighted 3 rather stunning academic treatises that have proved positive long-term returns from responsible investment strategies. And I just wanted also to summarise the status of ESG reporting in Asia and what the stock markets are doing to encourage reporting. And if you're interested in this specific topic, we just published a paper for UNCTAD and Aviva investors, which was presented in Xiamen for the Global Sustainable Stock Exchanges Dialogue. That was 2 weeks ago. And I'm not sure if SGX is here. I know SGX is here somewhere, but they have just put out a consultation paper and are looking for responses to their consultation paper about introducing voluntary reporting requirements for companies listed on SGX. So we're very hopeful that there will be some very specific guidelines by industry sector in terms of what companies will be reporting on in the future. And you know, it's a very difficult and complex topic as well, because exchanges aren't all the same. They don't all have the same ownership structures and regulatory structures. So we've tried to summarise a lot of the issues in this report. And Rumi, who's one of the authors, is here. So if you want to have a chat with Rumi later on, that's also possible. So I'm going to hand over at that point to Paul Dickinson, who is the CEO of the Carbon Disclosure Project. We're very grateful to Paul for being here. I'd like to say he flew all the way just for us, but he's got some other things on his plate this weekend. But we're very grateful for him to present his keynote speech this afternoon. And I'm sure Paul will be very helpful and offer some advice afterwards.